Everybody hates Mondays. Guess what? Everybody does hate Mondays.
Drink Chasing Number One, Abdul Rahman bin Muhammad. What is the name of the show?
Everybody Hates Mondays.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's start over again. Drink Chasing Number One, Abdul Rahman bin Muhammad, on another episode of Everybody Hates Mondays. Shout out to my man,
Matt with a dream. It's Monday morning. Let's get locked in, focused, and yeah, it's time for the motivation.
On today's episode, oh my goodness, look at what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. It is my wife, the beautiful, lovely Dayeshell Patrice Muhammad.
Yay!
How you doing today, baby?
I'm great, but I'm trying to figure out why I'm the second woman on the show.
Ooh.
And the 10th guest.
Oh.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
Well, it's going to be one of those episodes, folks.
We're calling out all the women. If you want to be on the show, hit up DC1. It's
Honeydew.
that simple.
And
We don't
Marcus.
discriminate.
I feel like this is going to be an uncomfortable show.
No, it's not.
Because it
It's
starts
not.
off with smoke. And why does smoke have to be in the show already? Like, I don't
Hey, we try to
understand.
get people to tune in. No,
All right,
okay.
so we wanted to bring you on because you got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to. I think we should start off with the event we had maybe like 3 weeks ago, the Activate CT rally. You were kind of like the spearhead for this event.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you talk a little bit about Activate?
Okay. So basically, the rally started after I was part of a conversation with one of the schools that we collaborate with at My People Clinical Services, and they were talking about the students who were having a difficult time kind of expressing what they were going through because of COVID, but also because of, the police brutality and all the injustice. And I was the only Black person on the call of teachers.
Equity. There wasn't a lot of equity on that call.
So for me, there were other people of color on the call, but for me, it was like we were having this conversation about a group of people and the decision makers weren't representing, it wasn't a good representation of the students. And so I had also previously taken our daughter to a rally. Probably, I think it was like one of the first ones in Hartford, and she had really kind of like this desire to be a part of. And so through both of those experiences, I realized that we often kind of silence the voice of children, or we're not inclusive of their voice and kind of what they're experiencing, and that they too have a loss, and they too are dealing with things. And a lot of times the conversations are at an adult level. So the rally really started as a youth rally, as an opportunity for youth to kind of have a voice. And then it kind of just spiraled into, kind of 3 different sectors of Activate.
So we had the rally. It was great. Where do we go from there?
So right now, what we're trying to do at My People Community Services with Activate CT is we are trying to empower community leaders. So we're trying to create change makers, and we know that there are change makers out there, right? We're not the only ones out here doing work and want the betterment for our people. So we really want to be the facilitator of change and empower other people to create change through what we now have as 12 activations, and we're trying to.
Can we pause right there though, because I think you said a critical thing. So go back to the whole thing about the change makers.
Mm-hmm. In regards to
just give us that again.
Yeah, so
actually, could you give like a little like quick promo straight ahead to the change makers to get them to get activated with the activation? Go ahead to the change makers.
So to my change makers, you are currently out in the field. You are the ones that are encouraging people to make change. You are at the front line of inspiring our people to move past whatever struggles that they're having. And so we invite you to join our collaboration in moving our people forward and going beyond the marches and the protests and providing them with actionable steps. So you are the people that are going to create the change. We need you.
So dream chasers, people that are out there, activators, whatever, people who are tuned in. This is not even the Monday motivation, so I think this is another.
We always go to another level.
in addition to the Monday motivation, we also had a call to action.
That's right.
So now I actually have a question for you. So talk to us about your road to PhD. I feel like last week you shared a part of your story that I didn't know, and it was actually really inspiring, both to myself and to the woman who said that her dream was to go to Manchester Community College. So talk to us about your educational journey.
Yeah, so real quick, I wanted to go to school in Baltimore. I wanted to go to Morgan State University, but my parents couldn't afford to send me there. And I was the first generation going to college, so we didn't know much about loans and how to kind of get beyond that. So, but my parents were really supportive, and so my dad kind of just encouraged me to go to community college, to just go ahead and do something. So I ended up at Manchester Community College. I wasn't too happy about it, but nonetheless, I went there, obtained my associate's degree in communications, and then from there, I went on to get my bachelor's degree in business. And then I had some children, so I took a little break, and I was indecisive on really. So then I was trying to decide if I'm going to go get my MBA or if I was going to get my MSW, but neither really fit me. And so in searching, I kind of came across this program, a master's in women's studies. So I went to school at Southern, got my master's in women's studies, and then I had to actually activate myself and say, what's next? Because the problem was that we didn't have enough representation of women of color. And so if we want to create change, then we have to be able to be at the table. And when you look at the fact that currently the numbers have changed to there's 4.5 million people in the United States with a doctorate degree. It just
4.5 million.
Yeah, so it just jumped up, right? Because the last time I checked, it was at 2.5 million. So I don't know,
but that's a lot.
Data though, when depending on when they survey, of that, there is less than 1% of Black people with a doctorate degree, and then if we, there's not even real true data as to how many Black women versus Black men. So there was some statistic that said from 2002 to 2017, there was an average of about 50,000 people getting a doctorate degree every year. And of that number, there were only like 1,250 Black women.
Wow.
So when we think about change and we think about, my desire to, like my true desire is to change the way we educate females, not just academically, but emotionally, behaviorally, mentally, spiritually, all of the leads. I really felt like I had to make the next step so that I could be at the table to really have those conversations.
Absolutely.
So you've been working on a documentary.
I have.
And I think it's a very important documentary, actually.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about it. It's about smiling, right?
Yeah, well, yes, and freedom. Yeah. So, basically, the documentary is called 180 Seconds of Freedom, and it is part of my Honeydew brand, and it features 50 women, 51 including myself, and so the way I kind of got to the documentary was I wanted to celebrate the anniversary of Honeydew from when we started Honeydew in December. And so I wanted to do this, like a party, but do a vision boards because 2020 is supposed to be the year of vision.
Oh, well, that didn't work out. I'll just tell you
No,
that real
it
quick.
did. It's gonna go. It might. So anyway, well, we are visually seeing that things have not changed. So it is the year of vision. It's just what we thought might be a little bit different. But nonetheless, so I have found this lady that I have worked with, where she creates these. The canvases, but she does it with raised printing, so you don't go over the lines. So what she does is you send her a picture, she will put that picture on the canvas. So I was looking for a picture that showed Black women like having a good time and smiling because 2020 is supposed to be, a great year. And all of the images that I found were either stock photos, so the smiles were fake and you could tell, or they were over sexualized photos. Stoic photos, serious photos, sad photos of Black women.
Right.
And so for me, I got obsessed with this. So now I'm trying to like type in happy Black women and, and the images just weren't there. And so for me, I started to think that if we continue, like, perception is reality. So if we continue to perceive Black women as angry and serious and stoic and sexualized, then that's what they become. So I wanted to change that narrative. So I invited a bunch of people. My sister was a co-host in inviting people. We invited people out to this party that we were going to have. And I contacted Rena, I'm not gonna say her last name because I don't know, but from Rena Star Photography. And I told her my concept, and we came up with this thing that we're gonna do this party. So the idea was that each person would come, we would have a DJ, we play music, they get to take photos. And so we started to have a lot of people say that they were gonna come, so I started to get concerned that we wouldn't have enough time. So I said, instead of everybody having 5 minutes, we're only gonna give them 3 minutes. Hence 180 seconds. Nice. So they came to the party, they chose their own song, DJ played their song for 180 seconds, and then they stood in front of the camera, and whatever came out. And the photographer captured it. NE Video did the interviews. We ended up doing 3 parties. The first one was the best one, but we did 3 parties, 2 adults and 1 for kids. And so now the documentary is going to come out, and it's really going to be interviews. It's a different documentary. I had, in preparation, went on Netflix and looked at all of the documentaries that they had on Netflix. There were over 300. Of the 300, there were, I think it was 15 about Black women. Of the 15 about Black women, they were all wrapped in pain, suffering, men, and children. There were no documentaries about just like happiness and freedom and living life. And so I was like, no, I have to change that.
That's deep. So when does it come out?
Well, we are tentatively looking at August the 20th. Okay. But we may be working on some film festival things, so we'll yes, but the information will come out.
Okay. So I think you raised a really important point, that you have the power and autonomy to control the narrative. And I think that it's amazing that you decided to do just that with the 180 seconds of freedom. Now, in addition to 180 seconds of freedom, in addition to your work with women's studies, you also have your brand, Honeydew. And I feel like that's another powerful way that you control your own narrative. So talk to us a bit about Honeydew.
Yeah, so Honeydew is basically a brand that is really to help women reclaim what's rightfully theirs. And a lot has been lost from women of color. So like reclaim what's rightfully ours, our voice, our body, our control, our freedom. Everybody wants to control Black women. We only are free for so little of a time when we're younger, and then these responsibilities come on to us because of, Black women are responsible for everybody. We're the mothers of the community. And so I really want to help women, old and young. We have the adult brand Honeydew, and then we have Miss Honeydew, MISS Honeydew for the little girls. And it's really to reclaim space. Like, Black women are everywhere. And the whole idea of Honeydew, the name honey, I won't even go into this whole concept that I have about bees. But honey, I was looking for a word that represented brown. And I was going through all these different words, and honey came up. And so when you think about honey, it's one of the only food items that's non-perishable if protected well. And it's found everywhere in the world. There's no place that's not found, and it's a natural sweetener. So it's like representative of Black women to me, or, women of color to me, melanated women. And then when I started to say, what's gonna go with honey, I typed in words that go with honey, and then honeydew, the fruit, the melon came up, and it was DEW, but I was like, no, this is a call to action. I want women to do. I want them to go get back what's theirs. Go get back their freedom. Go get back their voice. Go get back their control. So Honeydew is.
So speaking of a call to action, I think it's time.
It's time?
Yeah. It's time.
All right. So for those of you who are listening, you really only came for one real reason. It's for the Monday motivation. So we spoke to Dayeshell before the episode, and we said, yo, do you got the Monday motivation for the people?
Better come with it.
Because you set the bar already. Doop, doop, doop. So we're hoping that you're going to take it doop, 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 a bit higher with the Monday motivation.
Let's get it.
So Dayeshell, are you ready?
I think
3, 2, 1, go!
All right, so I have to give a little bit of history behind my Monday motivation. So,
History.
the days of the week, people often think that Monday is the start of the week. And I know Anthony Smith was on here and he said it actually starts on Sunday, right? So he's on to something. So the days of the week are Latin words, right? And they were given by Romans. And they are representative of the sun, the moon, and the 5 planets. At the time, there were 5 planets.
Wow.
So it's astrology. If you like astrology, I like astrology, right? So so really Sunday is the start of the week, and Sunday is the day of the sun, S-U-N, day, and it's about power, protection, creation, and good health, mental health, emotional health. Monday is actually Moon Day. And if you know anything about astrology, you know that the moon that we see does not, it shines, there's light, but the moon doesn't really have a light. It's actually a reflection from the sun. And so when you think about Mondays as a day of chaos, it's really supposed to be a day of reflection. You're supposed to reflect on all the greatness and the creations and the protection and all that good stuff that you've had. So my motivational moment is that I encourage everybody to take 180 seconds on Mondays and reflect on all the positivity that you've had in your life, and then make plans to move forward. And one of my friends on Facebook used to always say, if you love Monday, she'll love you back.
Okay. And if she loves you, she'll love me back. Because that's my wife. And you know how we go down. Everybody hates Mondays. I'm DC1. And this is
Met with the Dream.
And this has been another episode of Everybody Hates Mondays. But we don't.
And we're out.